Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning. We are racing down in the Western Cape today. Kenilworth, Rahiel is with me, standing in for Ravorn. I think he's actually calling today, Ravorn, but I know he had a busy Sunday. So he'll be off to the track. We're off into our computer forms, which we've done. We've got a PA for you. Looks pretty straightforward, to be honest. You might actually be able to get away with quite a narrow perm, but the one or two legs we just threw in a few in case. Rahiel, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Neil. I'm good, thanks. And how are you?
I'm very good. Not as good as you. You backed She's a Winner on the weekend. Actually, you were telling me you backed it before Bulgarian was scratched, so you'll be delighted with that, even though you got a deduction.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the price that I had got is better than what she ended up. I think she ended up top favorite, so was good, and it was a very good win from her. And I'm not sure if she really is a July candidate, but she could be anything at the moment. I know Warren's unbeaten on her, so they all are pretty confident. But obviously, there's the likes of Do It Again, who won a nice race yesterday.
Yeah, no, that field's going to be pretty strong. It's going to be a great July. And of course, got the green light. Well, we all know about him. He's currently the anti-post favourite. He's going to only carry 55. And then you've got the 3-year-olds, of course. The daily news form still got to come into it. But anyway, let's get into today's Kenilworth racing. We've got a 8-race program. That means the bipod commences with the first race. I think the first race is the only race you and I haven't touched on off air. So tell me what you liked in the first.
I thought the 2-horse Arctic Ice. This horse has a second run after a break, and her first 4 runs were pretty decent behind some fair horses, and I think she should go well in this race here. And then I also liked the 10-horse, which is Kissing Point, the 2-year-old filly of Global View. Decent debut, third. She has a nice draw on the inside up the straight, so that should assist her. And she would have come on a lot from that last run. And she had about close to a 2-month break since her last run, so I'm sure there would have been definite improvement there. And then also the 5-horse Ideal Image with Louis Courtois for Adam Marcus. This horse also ran a fair debut, and she's sure to come on from that run.
Okay, so there you heard the first. So what would you do in the bipod? What numbers would you put in?
I'd go 2, 5, 10 in the bipod.
2, 5, and 10 in the bipod. I think the 5's a big improver. I think you're right. Safe to assume. Yeah, social standing in this race. Number 8. Interesting. Yeah, I think you'll be fine with those 3 in the first, but it looks quite competitive, I must say. But anyway, we're going to get straight into the second race because that's where our place accumulator starts. And we're going to bank her in the first leg of the PA. I'll show that perm, but we're going to bank a Richard Faree.
Yeah, I think he should be hard to beat in this race here. Gets a better draw than the last 3 rounds, and should go very close here.
Yeah,
and then I think
it's fine. What's your second, third choice, just in case people want to take exactors?
The 1-horse Bei Suye and Legitimize. If you have a look at their form, it's they're both very similar. 2 good runs over the course and distance. And if you have a look at a few form lines back on Legitimize, the form line behind High Moon is pretty decent when he ran second, beaten 0.3. And the form line of Bei Suye running behind Attorney General, that form line has also worked out quite well. So if you don't really fancy the 3-horse, and you could possibly go with 1 and 2 in the bipod.
Okay.
And in the first leg PA, yeah, the 3 should be hard to beat for us.
Yeah, we're going to take our chances there, bank of the 3. Now, moving on to the second leg, which is race 3, another maiden plate, fillies and mares. Rahiel wanted to bank a number 1, Katie Do, I think. Well, you like Katie Do in the 7, Queen Mercury. I didn't necessarily trust them, did I? That's why I've thrown in a couple, but those are your first choices there. I've just thrown in, I don't know, something didn't sit very well with me in this race. So I put in number 2, Arundel, and I put in number 4, Bite My Lip, just because that's drawn 3. But what's your first choice, the 1 or the 7?
The 1-horse, KT2. I think Richard Faree could possibly have a quick double with Freedom Park and KT2. returns after a long, not really long, but over like over 4 months. So if she's fit enough, she could go very close in this race here. And especially if you look at her run behind Chaching, her debut effort, which was a pretty good run, finishing a half a length behind her. So her form lines have worked out fair decent enough. I know the last form line has worked out well, so she could run a good race here. And then the 7 horse that you mentioned, Queen Mercury, ran on well on debut, and the extra 200 meters here should suit her.
Yeah, I just looking at the form here in this race, I don't trust it. Also, that for me, my first choice, oddly enough, is number 8, Vision on Ice, because I'm thinking we might get a little bit of value on that, and the blinkers go on drawn 4. But I don't know. I think it's quite a trappy race. But you heard Rahiel liked 1 and 7 in that leg. Let's move on to the 4th race. The reason why, by the way, we could load up in the 2nd race is because we've got 2 more bankers still to come, and one of them is in the next race. A Universe Boss, who has improved nicely since he's gone over a bit of ground. Callum Murray rides. You'd imagine he had the choice of rides. So he's a banker for us in the PA.
Yes, definitely. I think this horse should go very close to winning in this race. He gets a good draw 4. And I think, yeah, this horse should go very close. And if you want to maybe take a chance in the pick 6 as well, you could possibly banker him. If you don't think anything else could possibly beat him, but this race here is very shallow, to be honest, on form, and the one horse seems the horse to beat you.
Well, certainly would be disappointed if he doesn't run a place, that's for sure, in that field.
Yes,
the next race, the next race is race 5. This is a 92 handicap, and again looks pretty competitive. In the end, we've gone 1, 2, 7. The interesting horse here, we've been discussing it off air, is number 2, Swift Surprise, because Richard Ferree rides him, and he hasn't ran for 296 days. But when he was running, he was quite a decent horse, who looked to be developing into a decent stayer. So I find him quite interesting that Richard rides him, but in the end, we've just stuck with the form. We've gone 1, 2, and 7.
Yeah, certainly, I agree with you. Very interesting that Richard Ferree has chosen this horse here, especially over the likes of Knights Templar and Kariba Hall, who seem to have the form in the race. But obviously he knows something, so he's gone for that horse. But my first choice here is Rockin' Ringo. This horse has won his last 2, and Louis Mkotoa gets along well with him. And I think that this horse should go close in this race here. And then the 7 horse, Triple Jet, who carries a very light weight here of 53.5. It should get close between him and Rockin' Ringo, on their last run. But I think that Rockin' Ringo has the confidence at the moment, and he's on the up, so he could just have the beating of Triple Jet. But you have to throw both of them in. And as we mentioned, the 1 horse Knights Templar, who had his first run after a break last time out, so he would have needed it a bit. He runs well over the course and distance with 1 win and 2 places from his 4 runs. So he's another you could throw in.
Yeah. Okay. So race 5, there it is, 1, 2, 7. But it is an interesting race, particularly with jockey bookings and decisions made there. But we've gone 3 horses. The next leg is another banker for us. And we've gone for the Give Me the Green Light. Richard Ferree rides from a 4 draws. Hardly put a foot wrong, but you know, the maiden was such an interesting form line. There's been multiple winners from that, and he himself has run back-to-back seconds, so he probably takes a step up a little bit in class here, but he should do enough to run a place.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, he was a bit unlucky not to win one of his last 2 starts. He just got going a bit too late, but I'm sure Richard Ferree would set him alight early on, and there's sure to be a solid gallop in this race here with Moon Rock and Jeans Man. So there's no doubt that T'Challa will enjoy the hot pace up front, and he could certainly run on very strongly and go past them all. I think Ticket to Ride could possibly be the value though in this race here.
Who?
Ticket to Ride, the 11 horse. he could be the value.
Well, there's not much between them on the Spring Awakening run. Probably not enough for Ticket to Ride to turn it around, in my opinion. He's drawn 8, of course. And it is up the straight, but you'd prefer to be drawn normally up the inside, unless there's any change in running. But 8 and then maybe 11 if you wanted to add, but we think 8 is enough for the PA. Then we've gone a little bit wide in this next race. It's the conditions plate for fillies and mares. And we've gone 2, 4, 8, and 9. Your first choice in the race, though, is either the 8 or the 9, isn't it? It's the 9.
It's the 9 horse. Yeah, I thought the 9 horse could be some nice value in this race here at around 12.5 to 1. She's actually well in this race here, carrying only 54.5 on her back. She has a second run after a rest, and she should go well in this race here. I feel if you have a look at her run behind Captain's Ransom, she did carry level weights with Captain's Ransom and got beaten 6.6 lengths. And I think she would have only improved with that run. As you can see, second last run, she did win in a Pinnacle stake. So I think she should run well in this race here. And then driving Miss Daisy, you obviously have to give massive respect to her, as she has run in I think 3 or 4 Group 1s. So you have to give her massive respect. She returns after a break, which if she doesn't need it as much as I think she would, she could go very close in this race here, as she has obviously faced a lot harder than this. So she could go well. And then the 2 horse Sing Out Loud. Also her run behind Captain's Ransom is very attractive, as she gave Captain's Ransom 5 kgs and finished 5.65 behind her.
Yes.
But if she doesn't need the run, she could go well in this race here. And she enjoys the course. She tries the 1500 for the first time, so she's another you can include.
Yeah, she's my first choice, actually, number 2, Sing Out Loud, because of what you pointed out, and she's drawn nicely at 4. She's got to carry 59, but she probably has earned that weight. It's interesting, driving Miss Daisy got sort of suckered into getting a 110. I'm not so sure she is a 110. At one stage she was a 115 because she ran second to Queen Supreme, but since then she ran second to Summer Pudding, of course. But this is the kind of race, being a conditions race, that really does suit her. So she's got a lot of positives. The negative, probably a 9 draw. But in terms of class, I think we have to put in number 8, which is what we have done, driving Miss Daisy. Interesting race. Let's move on to the last one. We're going 2 horses here, 5 and 10. 5 is double charge, goes in. It's pretty obvious that he must go in. I mean, he doesn't run a bad race. But both you and I like a bit of number 10, Dollar Brand.
Yes, Dollar Brand. Drawn, gets a 5 draw, and last time out ran on pretty nicely over the latter stages of the race. So I think he could go very well in this race here. Aussie Noach knows him well, having won on him and run 3/3 and a 4th. So he knows how this horse behaves and how his running style is. So I feel that if there's a nice pace here, this horse could run on very strongly at the finish, and he could take this race here. And then, as you mentioned, double charge. This horse hasn't missed a check in his last 8 outings, so super consistent, and gets the services of Keegan DeMello as another that should run a very good race here. This obviously the 4 horse Wolfman and Waterman are the scratchings in this race here, so that's why we haven't mentioned them.
Yeah, 100%. Just to keep people think we've gone mad that we're not mentioning the 4 and the 7. We're in front of the curve there, that 4 and 7 are scratched. So 5 and 10 in the last. I mean, it's fairly affordable, 120, and that's even going wide in a couple of those other legs. If you do like Rahiel's horse in the second leg, you can take a chance in Banker. But when we worked out it was a 24 rand per, and we thought, well, let's just go back and make sure we don't go out in the second leg. So that's the Rahiel and Neil PA for Kenilworth today, and it's pretty straightforward. Are you going to be playing today?
I'm not sure. I'll have a look. I may play a few multiples and then see how it goes. But obviously champion season, so you want to try and get some money to play in this champion season. Seems to be an exciting season.
Yes, absolutely. And there'll be a lot of interest. We'll see what happens to She's a Winner in the July market. If she shortens, I'm sure she shall. But Rahiel, thanks very much. And you and I are going to regroup again because we're going to do Wednesday together. So good studying for that.
Yes, certainly. Hope the viewers have a profitable day at Kenilworth today and make some money.